Okay, great.
Go for it.
Hi, I'm Nari, and welcome to Mind Treasures. And do we know the name of? I see a number and a phone, but I don't know what the name of the person is.
I believe it's Miss Jumper, MJ Sarah, if I'm not mistaken. That's what the phone number is. No, sorry. Yep, that's what it is. You
Okay.
can ask her to introduce herself.
Yes, you're on mute if you were trying to reply to us.
I don't think.
619-719-3189. Maybe they walked away.
Okay, that's fine. We can just
Yes.
continue because we only have 1 hour.
All right, great. Well, we will continue. Welcome to day one of our Mind Treasures class for VOOCC. I'm not going to pretend I know what all those letters stand for. Welcome. We've got a couple more folks who are adding in. So my name is Nari, and I'm your facilitator today. You will have different facilitators throughout this class once a week. We're kind of rotating through. And so I get to do your introduction. And for those of you that are not that familiar with the ABCs of Wealth, which is the program we're going to be doing, once a week, we'll be logging in. We'll spend about an hour going through different topics that relate to finances and wealth. And as you will see, wealth comes in many forms, not just money. And so we'll be talking about some of those different aspects of wealth. We'll also talk about the ABCs of wealth from the perspective of different treasures or character traits that then relate to our wealth, whether it's attaining wealth or keeping our wealth or using our wealth in certain ways. And we look forward to hearing from all of you. This is a very participatory type class. So I will give you some introductory information. And throughout the class, we'll definitely be asking for volunteers, whether it's to read something or to give your input on something, etc. So to get us started, and we will be using chat to some degree, but we're also hoping that it's a small enough group that we'll be able to actually have discussions and do some talking as well. We've got a few of our Mind Treasures facilitators online with us, and you will be meeting each of them as well as they teach different classes and facilitate different classes. We want, hopefully, we're going to start off with just talking about your initial goals. Every week, there's kind of a pre-lesson that you can do before we open up the class. And in that pre-activity, that's where it kind of introduces you to what we'll be talking about. And so we had a few of you who did go in and do that. And right now, you can use chat if you want to just give us an idea of what are some of your just your initial goals of taking this class, for participating in this workshop. What kind of motivated you to want to sign up for this and do this? And you can either use the raised hand or you can type it in chat. Steph, share with us, please.
I would like to prepare for I turned 40 and I would like to be serious about my future. I don't know. I guess I never thought I'd live past like 25 or something. So apparently I'm living past 25, and I want to be prepared for the future. I'd like to save money. I'd like to have more constraint around spending, and I never learned how to, I was never taught that in my family. You know, there was a little bit of money, there wasn't a lot. So I want to learn how to kind of be responsible, more responsible.
Sounds good. Yeah, a lot of people weren't taught what to do with money when they were young, that's for sure. Keith, I think you had something as well?
Yes, I would echo what Steph just said exactly. And also, I'm a little bit older, I'm 54. I didn't think I'd make it to 18. And I'm still trying to figure out how to make money. And then budgeting is such a weird thing to me. I'm an independent contractor. I work in the holistic healing arts field, so I never know how much I'm going to make any week or month or year. So the idea of how do I budget for anything if I don't even know how much I'm making? And then also heal whatever it is that tells me that I don't deserve to make money.
Okay, okay. So far, our curriculum will address pretty much all of those different things that you brought up. Anyone else had something they wanted to share? Aoi?
Yes. I also grew up not having learned or been taught like all the stuff with financial. Anyways, I created a mess. So I have bad credit now. I have student loans out there. And I owe the IRS, and I'm, I just want to get assistance or knowledge in how to clean this mess up. Okay. And like, I just want to say, this isn't possible and give up, but like, that's all. I need help cleaning up the mess and knowledge.
All right. And we'll give you some tools to do that. And it's just one step at a time, like anything else. Yeah. Beth typed in for us to learn how to better handle my finances, set myself up for a stronger financial future, get to a point where I'm not living paycheck to paycheck and can put money away for the future. Excellent goals that I think we can all kind of shaking our heads. That's a good goal for us all to get to. Okay, anyone else wanted to share about that? Anything else that motivated you to take this class? Sign up for this. Okay. Awesome. Well, then let's dig into it.
Irma motivated me. Love you, Irma. Thank you.
Very motivational. She is. Okay, so we are going to get into this a little bit more. The format is on an online workbook, which has already been assigned to you, and you should have received a link to that online workbook, correct, Alex?
Yes, correct. Everyone should have, I know a few of the individuals have already accessed the workbook. So if you have any challenge accessing the workbook, let's do it outside of the 1 hour that we have here. And I can help, after the class, I can help individuals who need help to get on their online worksheet.
Okay, so every week you're gonna want to access that workbook, your online workbook, and we will access it at sometimes in the class, and other times every week you'll want to access it between classes, because like any class, we're going to give homework, right? But it's homework on all the things you guys have just talked about. So as we talk about these different topics, there'll be actual things you can do to start using the tools that we give you in this class. Just wanted to share, someone said, I'm honestly scared of wealth, haven't been great with money, though I'm getting better, and I'm afraid I might cause more damage than good. And hopefully you'll be able to change that feeling, because you deserve all the wealth you're able to earn. And then the key is keeping it and using it wisely. And this is going to cover a lot of different topics that will hopefully help you with that. Okay.
Nari, can I say something?
Sure.
If we lose half the participants next week, it's your fault. You called it homework. You know homework scares people off.
It's an activity that will help you.
Assignment activity. So
yes, but I mentioned that it directly affects what we're talking about.
Yes.
So it's not like, do 20 math problems homework.
Okay. All right.
It's specific activities that help you put into practice these things that we want to get better at. Okay, these skills and these habits. All righty. So moving on from there, what we want to do is we're going to talk a little bit about what the first activity was that a few of you did, and I'm hoping you're going to be have your hands raised to share with us to motivate everyone else to participate. And that initial activity was around some of your goals and what you think about those goals. And so let's see, is Lorna on? Do I see Lorna?
Yes.
Yes. Lorna, do you want to share? Just Lorna, Keith, and Beth all had really great initial goals. So I definitely am going to ask you if you want to share a little bit.
Sure, thank you. I apologize for being late. I was having a technical issue, but I'm sorry, what part did you want me to share?
In the, you know how we went online and there was an
Yes.
activity to do before class? Yes,
Yes,
you are one of the star students who did that. And so if you would like to share with us a little bit about the initial goals that you came up with, that you had listed.
Okay. My goals, I think it addressed both spiritual and material, right?
Yes.
So I just turned 64, and my goal is to travel to as many places as the Lord and my finances will let me, because my goal is to try to share a lot of the generosity and the gifts and the cool stuff that I've been blessed with, because my daddy was very poor with only a third grade education, and my parents are immigrants. So, you know, like a lot of my sisters and brothers here, we struggled. We ate government cheese and we had that powdered milk stuff. But my goal is to realize that money does not equal wealth. And
very good.
So I worry about, excuse me, medical coverage for myself and for my mother. And one of my goals too was to learn more about how taxes work.
Yes.
Because I think taxes is a big, I'm gonna keep it PG, but taxes is something else. So
yes. And that's one of the things we will be covering.
Yes.
So that,
yes, thank you.
You guys had great subjects. Keith, is Keith here? Oh yes, Keith, I see you. All right, unmute Keith and share with us your goals.
Well, if it's okay, I'm just going to slide over to the sheet itself and just read it.
Okay. Whatever works for you. Yes.
Yeah. So it talked about spiritual and material goals, right? So I just wrote, I would love to become fully self-actualized in this lifetime. Would love to master the balancing act of being a spirit, having a human experience, and easily flow and ebb with the rhythms of life here on earth. Materially, I would love to be detached from the expectations and allow all of the blessings to flow freely into my life as God sees fit. To let go of the expectations and longing for this or that, and to simply allow life to unfold organically. Does family count as a material goal? If so, I would love to be a parent and an integral part of the family unit. I would love to live in a way where money and time are not an issue, enjoying various places and having a second home in a tropical warm place like Hawaii or Costa Rica. I would love to be able to easily afford to buy the best quality organic foods, supplements, and support systems. And all of that, I'll just add now, all of that is to be able to create enough space and time to give back. I'm already a give backer type person. I generally have always been that way, but I would love to be able to ramp that up to, I gave up having the goal of being a philanthropist when I realized I'm not good at making money. So, but that used to be my goal for a long time, is to be able to be a philanthropist and help out with money. So I just do my helping in other ways, but I would love to be able to have that grow to be able to really significantly give back.
Sounds great. And Beth. Yes, Beth, I see you there.
Man, it's going to be hard to follow that.
No, don't even try. Just, yeah.
No, so I didn't write like a big dissertation, but I just put that I want to live a happy and positive life. I'd love to be able to explore the world. I want to live a life surrounded by people that I love and really just feel like I'm doing something that makes an impact. I think my biggest realization over the last probably year or so is that I wasn't happy with work and I was just working to get a paycheck. And I don't want to live the next 40 years or however many years I'm given, just being a work robot who goes and clocks in and then clocks out and doesn't really do anything else. So trying to find that work-life balance and really just do something so that when I'm older, if I've retired or whatever may happen, that when I look back, I have something that I'm proud of.
That's good. Anyone else want to share some of their financial goals, even if you didn't write them in the workbook? Andy.
Yeah, I grew up as the oldest of 10 children to parents who never made more than a combined $60,000 a year. But, you know, our house had a lot of love and a lot of fun. So there were some ways that I felt very wealthy and some ways that we felt very poor. But one of the things that I want is to be able, a person in the church I attended as a youth gave me the most generous gift of paying for 4 years of my college tuition. And one of my big dreams is to pay that forward at least 10 times, whether that be to my own children, nieces and nephews, or other people. But that's something, and I found out this woman recently passed away, and I found out at her funeral, she had done that for somebody every year.
Wow.
So it was a big, so something I would like to pay forward, because you can't pay it back. So I'd love to pay it forward. So that's one goal, is to get myself set up to be able to make sure that my kids can go to school and my nieces and nephews can go to school. And then maybe I can also help some of those outside of the family.
Okay, that's a great goal. And for those of you that haven't gone in and done that activity, when you go in later today or tomorrow, the goals aren't always financial goals. Some of the goals can be some other things besides financial goals, and some are a mix, like what Andy just shared with us, where it's not necessarily a financial goal, except in order to pay it forward, you do need to come up with some finances. And these goals can motivate you as you start to come up with a plan, not just for your finances, but for other things that will come up throughout this, throughout these sessions and these discussions. Okay, did anyone else have a goal that they know of that they wanted to share that they hadn't gotten into? All right, we're going to transition now to the fact that a lot of times our goals are based on, like I said, not so much money as other aspects of our life. And money is just one thing that kind of fits into the big picture of life. And there are times it can seem really important, but we're hoping that we can have a discussion that sort of puts it in the right perspective in terms of the big picture. And so hopefully all of you do have your workbooks open by now, because we are going to go, I'm going to share my page, and we are going to go to a screen in your book, in your workbook. Actually, just go into your workbook. Everyone should have be in their workbook. I'm going to share my screen and show you how to navigate around a little bit so that you can get where you want to go. So I'm going to share, and then you'll see my screen, and you'll be able to use see that. And so let's see, share screen. All right, great. All right, so when you first enter, if you haven't already, this is what you kind of see. You're on, if you notice this little arrow I've got at the bottom, you always come in at the table of contents. And then depending on the activity, there'll be a different page that you'll go to. And so the activity for this week was to enter your initial goals. And so these were some of those questions in the initial goals. I encourage you to still go back and do those because you'll want to keep going back to those as we go through these sessions. And where we're going to go now, from this initial goals page, up at the top where it says faith and finances, just click on that and we'll all be on the same page. Right. And this is the page we're going to kind of talk through today. Number one, I want some reading volunteers because you do not want to just keep hearing my voice for the next few minutes. So some folks to help us read through. We really want to kind of think about the big picture. Like we said, money is just one aspect of life. And we really want to build a foundation of what are the really important things. And if money is the most important things in our lives, then our lives are actually going to be pretty poor, really, and pretty bankrupt spiritually. And so we kind of start with, Alex has pulled together a lot of different writings from different spiritual leaders and different religions to kind of show us that there's a spiritual aspect for prosperity and for looking at life and what's important in life. And so there are quite a few different ones here. And so if someone could read this first quote for us. And actually, I want to back up, don't I, Alex?
No, this
okay.
is fine.
This is kind of the initial goals had some questions, and this is kind of some help with what those answers could be based on the on some spiritual foundations. All right.
Nari, can you click on the plus button on the bottom to make it a little bigger?
Yes, I can. There we go.
There we go. Perfect.
Is that better?
Oh, yeah.
All right, great.
I can see it.
Okay, good. Well, I know everybody was saying their ages like they were really old. And I was like, okay, I'm older than almost all of you. And I guess maybe making the font bigger is better for this group than our 3rd and 4th graders. So, okay. So there's a lot of stuff there at the top, but I want us to kind of focus on this first quote. Is kind of neat because it talks about for man, 2 wings are necessary. One wing is physical power and material civilization. The other is spiritual power and divine civilization. With one wing only, flight is impossible. 2 wings are essential. Therefore, no matter how much material civilization advances, it cannot attain to perfection except through the uplift of spiritual civilization. So you can't be all one. You can't, be, as one of my deacons used to say, you can't be so heavenly minded, earthly good. But you can't be so focused on the material that you aren't having an impact on the things that are more important. So the first question is, what is the miracle of a single flower? Anyone want to chime in on their thoughts on that? The miracle of a single flower. And Alex, I hope you are looking at everyone because it's hard for me to see them all with my screen the way I've got it.
You want somebody to read it?
If someone would read that, it's great. And then I would love to hear your thoughts about that concept. Thanks.
So it's, what is the miracle of a single flower? Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They toil, neither do they spin. Wherefore, if God so clothe the grass of the field, which today is and tomorrow is cast into the oven, shall he not much more clothe you, O ye of little faith?
Okay. Any thoughts on that quote and what it means when we think about our lives and the value of our life or the worth of our lives? If you think about it, flowers, you can see, especially, let's say you go to, when you drive up to like Del Mar, the Carlsbad flower fields, they're beautiful. And the flowers themselves don't really do a lot to make that happen. They just are. They're just being what they were designed to be. They are just accomplishing what they were put here to accomplish, being beautiful, propagating, doing whatever they're supposed to do. And a lot of times we can get ourselves into a grind and start spinning our wheels And we really end up not accomplishing our purpose because we can get so caught up on, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, I've got to, fulfill this checklist or that to-do list. And we end up missing out sometimes on what our real purpose is, whether it's to make life better for someone else, make life more beautiful. I know with you guys, you make life more beautiful through singing, right? And you provide something to people that you can't really put a price tag on. Any other thoughts about the miracle of a single flower?
I think it kind of speaks to what some of us were saying about not feeling worthy of wealth or something like that. If God sees fit for the flower to be protected, how much more for those he created in his image?
Excellent. Especially if he's going to provide that wealth to you because he knows you're going to do something with it that is worthwhile. He knows you're going to make the world better with that wealth. Then he's going to help you get that wealth. Okay. Next one, my purpose on earth. Why am I here? Why are we created? So deep questions. Thanks, Alex. Can someone read this first one for us, please? We have another reader.
I'll read it.
Thank you.
My purpose on earth. Why am I here? Why are we created? To know God, worship him, and attain his presence. O thou who art the Lord of all names and the maker of the heavens, I beseech thee by them. Who are the day springs of thine invisible essence, the most exalted, the all glorious, to make of my prayer a fire that will burn away the veils which have shut me out from thy beauty, and a light that will lead me into the ocean of thy presence.
Great, thank you. Does someone else want to read 3 through 5 for us? Because they're all kind of little. Someone want to help us with those? Let's see.
Ayo raised their hand.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you. Thank you. Please read.
Yeah, unmute her first.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't see nobody raising their hand, Andy, and then I saw your hand. So,
well, you can read 3 through 5, and I will put Andy to work on B.
Okay. The purpose of God in creating man have been and will ever be to enable him to know his creator and to attain his presence. To this most excellent aim, this supreme objective, all the heavenly books and the divinely revealed and weighty scriptures unequivocally bear witness. Number 4, but in the nearness to Allah is the best of the goals. Number 5, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness.
All right, great. All right, so 3, 4, well, actually all of those, but that whole section, in terms of why am I here? Why are we created? Your thoughts on what that kind of says to you, or how it puts things in perspective?
Me or anybody?
Oh, you can start.
You know, I didn't start out like this in life, but I believe this. I believe this is why we're here. We just get confused along the way, and we don't really know why we're here, but this is why we're here. That's all I can say.
Okay, that's good. Someone else had some thoughts on that one? Okay, because a lot of times we seek purpose, you know, we seek meaning in our life. And a lot of times we lose purpose because we maybe go out after the wrong priorities. And so this is, Matthew 6:33 is actually my life verse and has been since I was a teenager. And literally it's to set priorities. What's first in my life? And, from there you can figure out everything else once you decide what's most important to you. So, purpose on earth. Why am I here? To know God, worship and attain his presence. B, to prepare for the next stage of life. And Andy is going to read those for us.
Nari, can you scroll up, please?
Yes, I am.
Thank you.
Yes, that is my goal. Wait, I went too far that time.
Yep.
There we go.
Perfect.
Great.
I'm sorry, how far did you want me to go?
Can you do, let's say 6 and 7 for us, please?
Sure.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Know thou of a truth that the soul, after its separation from the body, will continue to progress until it attaineth the presence of God. Number 7. Then Abraham gave up the ghost and died in a good old age, an old man and full of years, and was gathered to his people.
Okay. And so what we're seeing, if you notice in different writings from different faiths, there is this sense that this world isn't it. There's more to our existence, and that part of the reason we're here is to prepare us for that ultimate existence. Other thoughts about these verses and what they have to do with, we've talked about goal setting, we're going to be talking about finances, just your thoughts as you kind of consider these verses.
Nari, just one quick note. So we want to be respectful of everyone's spiritual material beliefs. So what we're presenting here is not imposing any particular principles from any different faith on anyone, because what this particular section is that not everyone believes that there is something beyond this world. So again, we are not imposing that. Those who believe in it, this is what all the writings talk about. If you don't believe in it, you can do whatever you want to do. So just want to make sure that, yes, we are not imposing any particular religious doctrine or belief on anyone. Just wanted to clear that up. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Okay. Did anyone else have anything else they wanted to share from those writings? All right. Can someone please read 8 and 9 for us?
I can read it. It's Keith here.
Thank you, Keith.
Sure. Number 8, the progress of man's spirit in the divine world after the severance of its connection with the body of dust is 1, through the bounty and grace of the Lord alone, or 2, through the intercession and the sincere prayers of other human souls, or 3, through the charities and important good works which are performed in its name. Number 9, lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal, but lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.
Okay. All right. Any thoughts, comments? Our fellow facilitators, my fellow facilitators might have some comments on those as well, since we've kind of gone over them in the past. Anything you want to share with our class in terms of thinking about this a little bit?
So since Keith I'm glad he read this, because I had a little note to talk to him, because Keith says that because he didn't have enough financial means, he's been deprived of doing philanthropic deeds. And this one says one of the ways that we can attain the presence of God, get close to him, is through philanthropic deeds. Well, Keith, as you learn, as we will see through this program, the lack of material means should not stop any of us. There is so much more that we have that we will learn together that we can do to benefit the entire humanity. So you will see it. I hope you'll have the patience to see it with us. Even at a young age, even when we do this program for elementary school kids, they begin, because at that age, definitely they don't have enough money. So one of the goals of our program is to get beyond just the material aspects of life. There's so much more that we can do for others.
Okay, great. Okay, a reader for number 10, please.
I'll do it.
Thank you.
In the beginning of his human life, man was embryonic in the world of the matrix. There he received capacity and endowment for the reality of human existence. The forces and powers necessary for this world were bestowed upon him in that limited condition. In this world, he needed eyes. He received them potentially in the other. He needed ears. He obtained them there in readiness and preparation for his new existence. Therefore, in this world, he must prepare himself for the life beyond. That which he needs in the world of the kingdom must be obtained here. Just as he prepared himself in the world of the matrix by acquiring forces necessary in this sphere of existence, so likewise the indispensable forces of the divine existence must be potentially attained in this world.
Okay. All right. Alex, you want to expound on that one for us?
I just thought about that. I need to add in there. If you're wondering what the world of matrix is, it's the mother's womb. You might have guessed that. And this is the true spiritual basis of our program, as you will see it later on in a table. Most people think of learning about finances from maybe high school and then up forward. But based on what we have discovered in the various writings is that our financial affairs start at the point of conception in our mother's womb. And then it continues on through eternity, as we will see. So I hope nobody feels that, oh, we missed out a few years, maybe a few decades. We still have time to catch up. But really, it's like we're always, as it says, we're preparing for the next stage of life. In mother's womb, we develop things that we needed for this world. In this world, from childhood, we go for teenage years, for young adulthood, for our retirement plan. But then overall, we are also preparing for those, again, that believe that there is life beyond here. We're preparing for the next world. And this, we have to do it here, just as we did in the mother's womb.
Yeah. So basically, we're always at different stages. And that's something that, you know, that's kind of what some of you already touched on, is that you're seeing what stage you're at now, and then you're considering where you want to go next. What's the next stage, and how do you prepare for that next stage of life? Let's see, 11. Let's go for it, 11. Did someone volunteer to read that?
I'll read it. This is Beth.
Thanks, Beth.
That divine world is manifestly a world of lights. Therefore, man has a need of illumination here. That is a world of love. The love of God is essential. It is a world of perfections. Virtues or perfections must be acquired. That world is vivified by the breaths of the Holy Spirit. In this world, we must seek them. That is the kingdom of life everlasting. It must be attained during this vanishing existence.
And Alex, you don't have a reference for that one?
That whole section is from the Baha'i writing. It's all of it together.
Okay.
Like, let's see.
Just checking.
Yeah.
Because I didn't remember that one. Well, I didn't. It doesn't have a.
Yes, it's 10, 11, and 12. They're all part of it's broken down. They're all part of the same section.
Got it. Okay. Thoughts on what that has to do with finances or your goals that we've talked about?
I have some thoughts. This is Keith.
All right, Keith, thanks.
When I answered this question in the form, I just wrote my purpose is to love and to be loved, and I'm of the belief that God is love, and that we are all God, and that this. I don't know what I'm trying to say, except for that in my spiritual practices and the ways that I connect with God, I I forget to tie in actual the money end of wealth. So, for example, I don't ever pray like, "Dear God, please help me make more money," or something like that. I just do my best to stay connected and be a channel for God's love in the world. Mm-hmm. So this is quite exciting for me to have all of this that you put together for whoever you teach it to and us in this next 10 weeks. It's really exciting for me to observe and now study how you all have tied in spirituality to financial wealth, or whatever you want to call it. So I am grateful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for your comment. Anyone else with other comments?
I'd love to talk about number 11 real quick. This is Beth.
Okay, cool.
What stood out to me is this phrase, "It is a world of perfections." And I know I consider myself to be a perfectionist. And so when I first kind of read it, I was like, oh man, it is a world of perfections. And like, I have to be perfect. And like, this spiritual thing is telling me that I have to be perfect. Oh my gosh, that's scary. But then I kind of went back and read it a couple of times. And I think what it kind of said to me is that it's a world of perfections, but we're not the ones who are perfect, and we're not trying to be perfect alone. Right. You know, there's somebody in it or something, whoever and whatever we each believe in, that is there to help us. And in this case, it says we must seek the breaths of the Holy Spirit. And it kind of like is a nice little reminder that when we feel overwhelmed, if something went wrong, if something doesn't go according to plan, that it doesn't mean like we're terrible. It doesn't mean we suck. It doesn't mean everything's gonna like crash and burn, but there's something around us that's there, that we can lean on, that we can go to, that we can pray to, that's going to help us through whatever we may be feeling in that moment.
That's great. Thanks for sharing that. It helps if you see it as part of a process towards perfection, because as humans, we're not really going to get there, but we at least can follow a perfect path. Okay, 12, and 12 has a whole little list for us to think about. Someone want to read that list for us?
Sure, I'll read it. It's Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
I'm not sure my signal goes in and out, so I'll do the best that I can coming across here. By what means can man acquire these things? How shall he obtain these merciful gifts and powers? First, through the knowledge of God. Second, through the love of God. Third, through faith. Fourth, through philanthropic deeds. Fifth, through self-sacrifice. Sixth, through severance from this world. Seventh, through sanctity and holiness.
Okay. All right.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. So just off the top of your head, Mark, you just read through that. What do you think that has to do with wealth in all its different attributes, or finances, or money, or this whole discussion? What do you think?
I through the entire, I've had to realize through lots of time and effort in my particular walk in this life that all of the riches of this world really don't have enough to fill what the riches await me in the kingdom of heaven. So with that as the initial thought, early on it was talking about what I'm here for, and one of the real dominating things is that I have found, and even through the choir, even more so, it's not about me, but about helping others, loving others. A lot of that is obtained through a spiritual connection between me and my Lord and Savior and God and the Father in heaven. So with that, it's driven me back to Scripture in order to be where I am now. As the choir itself has been my vehicle. I'm a worship leader. I also teach Purpose-Driven Life by Pastor Rick Warren. Mm-hmm. So a lot of this is very familiar, but yet it's very much so, oh wow, I didn't know that, or I wasn't able before the choir and before my spiritual walk. These things weren't very important to me. Money, things that I could buy, materialistic things. When I found along the way through school is that those things are just things that we can attain, but still, who are we doing it for? Am I doing it for Mark? Am I doing it for God's pleasure? Am I doing it to be Christ-like? Mm-hmm. God's pleasure is really the actual destination of all things. And with that, I get an incredible overflow of blessings and His grace and mercy second to none. I live in a time now that has been about me, and I have to differentiate between what's about me and what I can do for others. And that is really the key, is because to be one, just like this is saying, the knowledge of God, second through His love, and then everything is specifically set exactly in this course, exactly the way it should be and the way that I agree it to be, and also being a living proof of how it can be. Now, how it goes back to finances and things, I've even had to break it back to being so simple as just taking GOD, which means good, orderly direction, and just use it as an acrostic. And because of that, good, orderly direction would be to do the right thing and be okay with that. I have had to lay myself in a position that of what I need and what I want, and make those decisions along the way. Do I want it or do I need it? And every time for this entire journey for the past 5 years, I've always gotten what I've needed. I've never been left short of it. God has just rains incredible blessings over my life.
Exactly.
In that, it demands for each individual, I believe, to be Christ-like, and to what would Jesus do? That was a slogan that got lost somewhere in time, and I still use that today. And when I look at things and situations, is what would Jesus do? And to do the right things with good order and direction. So it's very wide here on how many things and how much is going on right here, and how it actually leads to, I'm so excited about getting to the next portion of this course, because this thing is just, now it's kind of like, I was kind of watching for a while, and now it's just kind of jerked me into it. because it's like school. It's like homework, Alex. It's like so many different things that I do anyway. I'm working on my master's in Christian ministry.
Thank you for kind of wrapping that up for us, because that's we need to go. So awesome. Thank you very much.
Nari, let's do this because we have a whole page left. I think maybe what we should do things a little different this time. Leave the next page for next time. So we can talk about part of their assignment for next week.
Right.
And so let's do that. And maybe we can even, if we have time, because we only have 10 minutes left, maybe we can introduce the budget sheet. So I'll let you do your stuff. And then if we have time, we can just introduce the budget sheet, because that's an actual activity.
Perfect. Okay. So during the next week, if you want, you can actually, because we'll probably only be able to spend a little bit of time on page 2, because we'll get into the next page, but we will open up kind of with our review, and we will use page 2 as our review, your thoughts, things that occurred to you from reviewing this. So you definitely want to review this page with some additional sayings. The purpose of desires and temptations, I assume we were going to have quite a conversation on that one, and life necessities, and what should we do with our time? Sometimes we need to make sure, the same way we need to think about how we spend our money, spending our time, sometimes we can be we need to be just as wise about how we spend our time as our money. Okay, what I want to do now is back out of here and go back to our workbooks. And if you go to the bottom of the workbook, what we're going to work on for next week, and I'm sure everyone will want to do this, is you're going to click on this button here, Human Treasures. And you notice we've got another one of our quotes there. And what we're going to think about is the treasures that are inside of us. And we'll talk about that more next week. And what I'm going to challenge everyone to do is to look at this list and come up with 3 to 5 of these treasures that you feel you're already strong in those treasures. So let's say I feel like, you know what, I serve. I'm a servant. I serve all the time. I'm strong in serving. But I'm not the most self-disciplined. So I will pick 3 to 5 of these that I feel I'm strong in, and another 3 to 5 of them that I know I could work on and do better in. And we're going to have some discussions around these treasures and how these treasures relate to our finances. And some of them may not be that obvious, but we will be able to find ways that every one of these in some way can relate to your financial health, as well as other aspects of your life. Okay. So everyone's kind of wait, yes,
Keith is asking, how do we get to the Human Treasures tab? Can you go back and walk?
Yes, I will. And so, Keith, at this point, you were probably on the initial goals page. No, yes, you're probably on this initial goals page. And so if you go down here to the bottom, and then you're just going to go to this little scroll right arrow and click once. That makes sense? And then you click on Human Treasures.
Yeah, he said he got it.
All right, and then you're going to go in there, and you are going to click on 3 to 5 of these that you feel you are already strong in, you already demonstrate those, and another 3 to 5 that need work. And next week, we'll talk more about how these are treasures and how this relates to our finances. Okay, and we are very close to complete. Any questions, whether it's questions about the structure of the class, questions on navigating the book, or questions about this actual discussion that we've had today? And any comments?
I have a few things if no one.
Okay, and Alex is going to give us a few things now.
All right. A few things about the program. This worksheet that you all have, you will have access to this for life. It's not just for this program. You'll have access to it as long as you keep your email address and so forth, so you can continue on working on it. And there are certain things that we need to do outside of the class, as we will see, particularly about the budget and stuff. Budgeting is not something we learn in class. We'll learn how to create the budget. It takes only 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes. But then really following up and entering what we actually do. That is the most difficult exercise for anyone in here. So it's definitely something that we want to do, and we'll continue to be working on it. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that we've been, this program, my wife and I started 15 years ago. Initially, we wanted to do this with this age group, with adults. That was her idea, but it was very difficult. I guess we needed to wait 15 years and a coronavirus to get the adults to come and actually do this class. Seriously, we've been doing mostly this program at elementary schools because that's where we have a captive audience. They cannot get away from us, whether they like it or not. But since COVID happened, we've been doing a lot of these sessions virtually for families. And we do it, except this first part. In schools, obviously, we cannot present those spiritual principles. We would love to do it. Hopefully, we get to do it in the future. But in the elementary schools, we start with the human treasures. So we have not touched the program. The content is exact same as we present to elementary school kids, to high schoolers. Of course, high schoolers and adults, they receive additional, as you will see. And also, we're doing this all around the world. So we're doing it exactly as is all around the world in there. One comment.
Alex?
Yes.
Someone had the question, are people not present today still able to sign up? I'm assuming that's a yes, but I didn't want to just...
Yes, it is a yes, but that adds on an extra activity to whoever is going to allow additional people to come in. You will have to explain to them. Once they sign up, we will create a worksheet for them, but you'll need to become, and that was the other thing that I was going to mention in here, is that the concepts that we're learning is not just for us. There's a whole world that does not have this information. As you can imagine, our age group, we did not receive this education. Still, here in San Diego, we only have enough funding to do about 12 to 1,500 students, but we have the whole 7 billion people throughout the world, because this is an education that nobody disagrees, that nobody says, I don't need it. Doesn't matter how much money they have or they don't have.
Good.
It's something that everyone needs, but not many people or organizations have the resources to actually do this program. So you're going to pass this on to your friends outside of the group, whether in your choir group or outside. So that's another assignment, or we can call it homework if you like to. Whatever suits you. So it's working with them. If other people are coming in, you'll need to be their new facilitator and at least bring them up to speed. I would say up to next week, it's okay for other people to sign up. But then after that, we kind of fall behind. But we can always create other groups in the future too. And the other one, since we have this in the screen, I think it was Beth who commented on that quote about perfections. The perfections that are being talked about in that quote, it's actually these character traits. The perfection that you were talking about is doing material perfection, which is great. That is great. But then these are the ones that are, as we will learn next week, is that there are hidden treasures. There are within all of us. We're all born with all of these, but we have to discover and develop them. And in this world, they cannot become perfect. It's just impossible. If we can work on at least one of them, we've done a great job. And that's, as we will learn, how do we pick that one that we want to spend a lifetime on making it perfect. So that's all I had. But again, thank you so much for everyone to participate in this. We're all learning together, even me. I've been doing this for 15 years. Some of our staff have been doing it for 10 years. Every session, we learn so much from each other. Don't feel like we are here to teach you anything. No, we are here to learn from each other. We're going to be learning because every single person brings a new perspective in. So, Mari, you got 1 minute.
Thank you all for participating. It was great meeting you, and I look forward to seeing you again next week when someone else will be facilitating. So I'll probably just be like the problem child in the class.
And other thing, we'll be recording this, so the recording will be available. Anyone who wants to sign up between now and next week, they will be able to see the recording. We'll post the record, send you a link for the recording.
Okay, great.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Next week.
Thank you.
Ayo, since you're still on, how are you doing?
A lot of people are still on.
I'm like, I took some of your classes and I never got to reap the full benefits because my job and just coming into part of the classes. So, and now I have a place and I have I'm a lead now at Dreams for Change. And now, like, I've been wanting so much. I'm wishing I could take your classes over so I could reap the full benefits. I cannot believe I'm seeing you here.
Well, that's so great. I was so excited, to see everyone's name, but I said, all right, at least I recognize one of them. I know you participated. I think you participated, yeah, like you said, a lot of different ones, but this one.
I never got the full thing, it's because I was, for my job, so I had to come late and stuff, and or I had to work.
Yep.
I'm just so grateful to be able to take the full course with you there. You're the best.
No, it's everyone in the group. Everyone is, we're all working as part of a team to make this world a better place for everyone. It's not about any single one of us. So it's great to have you here. So you're a lead now. That's great news that you're a lead. Wow, that's
and this is the choir I used to tell you about.
I realized it after, I can't remember exactly, after you signed up, I realized, oh, this is the one. So Ayo already did her talents. She sang in the choir. Yes, she sang for our class at the care center. That's where she attended the program. I think she was one of the very few that did present a talent. So which was good. And that group was fun too. I mean, we had a lot of different people come through that. It was most of a drop in and out. We had our regulars, and then we had some that will show up one time, not show up one time. But we know that it was